I'm just curious though, rookie.
I say his first podcast here. I see.
Hold on, it's my son. I'm gonna answer him and I'll put you on mute.
He doesn't know we can lip read.
Yeah, we can. No, I'm not paying that bill. I told you 100 times.
I can't help it. I'm stuck on this show. What can you do?
Yeah, I cannot go right now. No. All right.
Wait. He just wanted to see if I'd taken the dog for a walk today. Well, hold on.
I need gas money as well.
So wait, Johnny's teamed up with Auction Professor, and they're asking me to jump ship onto a bigger show. All right, I'm out of here. I'm
right. What's the pay? I'm gonna make up something. Tell them I've got to go real quick. Hang on. Let me get off here.
All right.
So we'll see you later, Stewart.
Yeah, I could hear you. I just had my.
We know you can hear it. We know that. We just thought we'd fill in your voice, so I think we did pretty good, Dave.
All right, you can either keep that in or edit it all out. But
no, it's staying in 100%.
On Saturday, but Stewart got so angry that he just left.
He's not part of it. If I can't go with him, then forget it. Welcome back, everybody, to the Finer Flippers Resale Podcast. Stewart, we're down another member tonight.
Yeah, we just can't. It's hard to get us all in the same room. Johnny's. I think he's on a thrifting trip, he said, with Lizzie. So I'm sure they're having a good time and wish him a lot of luck. And this is going to be episode 106. It's a good one. We're bringing back one of our favorite guests.
Yeah, let's bring him in. People probably know who he is. He's influencers extraordinaire. Yeah.
So
what do you influence extraordinarily is what I want to know.
Oh, and stuff, trending stuff.
Trending.
So first question, did Mr. Magazine pull a Johnny and skip out, or is he going to be on the show?
He's supposed to be here.
All right.
Who knows?
Here's what I think. I think they're both out on a sourcing trip together. That's what I think.
There they are, going finding treasures behind our backs.
The $1 Million Peddlers. How you doing, my friend?
We're doing well. You?
Yeah, we're doing great. Living the dream, getting up down the road,
Can't believe you're up on episode 106.
We are 106. When was the last time we had him on, Stewart? Do you remember?
Now, I don't want to say anything negative, but that is an interesting color to your shirt there, Stewart.
Stewart?
It's
got that orange sherbet.
Yeah, I was going to say it looks like a creamsicle.
Yeah.
Getting ready for the game tomorrow night. Tennessee and Iowa State in the Sweet 16. So.
Oh, all right. Oh, this Tennessee shirt. Okay.
Yeah.
That is a creamsicle color. I did not
see
know
that Power T on the shirt right there? That's a Power T.
I do see that now. Well, I like the Ohio State Buckeyes, and they were the first team to lose this year.
They're gone.
They gone.
Like episode 79 was the last time we had. Well, we had a $1 Million Peddler. We did not have the $1 Million Peddlers. We just had David. So
we seem to get David on here quite frequently. We just can't get the other half of him. So, of course, we can't keep all of our three together either. So, we're all over the place. David, I like what you've done with the place. You've gussied up in there. Looks
made it look nice over here. Yep, AI makes everything look nice.
You must be doing real well. Dave, I want to lead off tonight, and I saw some of your previous videos. I want to know if you are a hoarder, my friend.
No, and the reason why is because I have the intention to sell. I think that really does make the difference. I don't buy for the sake of buying. I don't buy anything that I don't feel that I can sell when you get down to it.
I got you. Now, have you started limiting what you're buying? Because I think on one of those, you said you only spent like $15 for the year at some point. Have you been limiting what you're trying to purchase, or what are you doing?
Well, I went to Ephemera Fair this last weekend. I don't know if you've ever heard of that or not, but it's the Ephemera Society of America puts it on, and it's over in Connecticut. And to give you an example, I walked in and I started looking around, and I stay in the hotel, which I'm glad that I do, because I do a walk around and then I go back up to the hotel room to decompress. Mm-hmm. Then I go back down to shop. And I don't know if you ever heard of Between the Covers or not, but they're a famous ephemera dealer. They had a $40,000 broadside from baseball from 1860, the second oldest known broadside for baseball. And it's sitting right there, $60,000. they've got in their thing. They have the first Gettysburg Address. They've got that first publication of the Gettysburg Address. I mean, we're talking big boy stuff at the show. Big boy stuff.
So what was the first thing you mentioned? You said a broadside for baseball?
Yeah, from 1860.
So what is a broadside?
It would be like this large. Now, a lot of times, you ever see like when they like, you know how you would know it? You would have seen like the play casts, and it's only on one side, and it was, you know, the name of the play from the 1910s, and it has all the names of the actors. Those things were generally meant, you know, you would stick them up on a window or on whatever. This, however, is a two-sided broadside, but it's a large side like that. They call it a broadside, is what they call it.
Okay.
But that's priced up at $40,000 there. I ended up spending $890 at the show, and I didn't even fill a banker's box. So we're trying to move up a little bit and buy a little bit better stuff. Not that I still won't buy the lower end stuff if it's available to me, but obviously at this show, if I'm holding out for $1 to $3 items, good luck to me.
So David, when you took the look around, did you realize you're going to need deeper pockets when you went up to decompress?
This was the second time I went to the show. I went last year. Last year, I was definitely overwhelmed. I had to go. I'm making strides. Last year, I had to go to the room twice during the show. This time, I only had to go once. So we're getting there. Eventually, we'll be able to walk through the whole show without having to leave the place. But it's just unbelievable stuff. One of a kind stuff. Just amazing to go to and amazing to look at as well.
Right.
You know, and it's great for research. That's the other reason why I love going to a show like that.
So it's really not intended for just a casual ephemera buyer who's buying low cost items. I mean, there's anything like that? There is everything pretty much high end.
There was one dealer who did have some $3 stuff, but mostly, it's all higher end stuff. Yep.
What's up, gentlemen? How's it going?
What's up? What is going on, my friend?
Same old. Hit a curb on the way over here. Always something going on. It's dark and rainy out.
It was a dark and stormy night. I'm going to write a
dark and stormy night. The magazine decided to show up.
I made it.
But we don't have Johnny, so, you know, we're never going to have all five of us together, I don't believe. So,
it's a toughie.
Yeah, I'll be surprised. So did you just go by yourself to that?
Mrs. Papergoy and I went. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
How have sales been? How's whatnot going? Any of those?
Well, not too good. Well, the guy that sells he's been limited on his hours too, but seems like records are dying for me. The problem is just a lot of colluding and getting fussy and tight with the money, I think. So if I had better stuff, I used to put it on and get a premium. Now if I have better stuff, it's selling for like pennies on the dollar. So we usually put the records on Amazon for that reason and try and give them like average records. I still get some money coming in, but it's not what it used to be. So
are you still doing ephemera shows, David?
I haven't done an ephemera show. Basically, ephemera is just on trains at this moment. I'm almost strictly books at this point, just because I've gotten into a couple of big book deals. And so they do take up more room as well. So I like to get those out the door. And there seems to be fewer competitors in the books area, or I'm a little bigger fish in the books area, one or the other. So I do fairly well in the books.
So what's the deal with all these playing card shows now in the ephemera category? That seems to be the big fad right now. At any given time, there seems like there's 4 or 5 just like playing card shows where people are selling single playing cards. I did not know there was such a market for those.
Yeah, the swap cards. I got lucky. I was at a clearance flea market last year, and I was walking through it, and they had a container like this of swap cards in the nine sheets, the sheets with the 9 of them. And I looked at them and I said, and I kept walking. And I said, I really got to find out what the price is on those. Turn around, I come back. The guy goes, I got another box of them back here too. Brings out another box. I think he charged me $40 or $50 for that many 9-count sheets of them, a couple of thousand cards.
So they're not just regular playing cards? I guess I'm not even familiar with what swap cards are.
No, they're regular playing cards, but they call them swap cards because what you do is you buy a deck and you collect one out of it that you want. Now, some people collect the ace of diamonds or the eight of spades or whatever, and then you've got 51 to trade off to other people for 51 other cards. So you swap the cards out because you don't want 52 of the New Orleans Superdome. You want one, and then you get the other 51 to trade for 51 other cards.
So how long has this been a thing? I mean, somehow I completely missed the boat on.
Sounds like a lot of work to get a card.
I mean, I've been aware of it for 5 to 7 years on that there, but I think it's gotten really big with junk journalists and all that. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I have noticed. I haven't done it. I did an ephemera show a couple weeks ago. I mean, and it was just I literally decided 5 minutes before the show that I was going to do one just to get rid of a box of stuff, and I accomplished my goal. I didn't make much money, but I got rid of everything. But I mean, I have noticed that. I mean, the ephemera category is definitely getting crowded, and it seems to be very fragmented too. I mean, there'll be 14 or 15 shows, and they all have like 4 people in it.
Yep.
You know, it's so. I've really been focusing on getting my ephemera listed on the other marketplaces. You know, all the places I cross post to, and I've really been doing really well with that. I've been selling a ton of ephemera on eBay and Etsy specifically, and a little bit on Facebook Marketplace as well. So
now, what's your average sales price over on Etsy?
Like just in general,
on ephemera.
You know, off the top of my head, I'm not even sure, but I would say most of the stuff I'm selling is probably in the $20 to $30 range.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So, you know, it'll usually be like lots of slides or lots of photos or letters, sometimes, you know, just documents in general. But yeah, I find I get a little higher price for things on Etsy, but I sell a lot more of it on eBay. So
I do a lot of books over on Etsy. That tends to be what I'm selling over there, and I do well enough on there. Yep.
Yeah, books too. I mean, I sell a ton of books as well on the marketplaces, and I mean, I do I put a lot of them in my booths, but like the higher end ones I sell in the marketplaces, and they do well.
Do either one of you all deal with sports memorabilia?
I do that occasionally. You know, I've been doing it for years, but I'm not kind of got away from it, so it's a smaller market for me. But I think Rochester in general isn't like, you know, New York and California and so forth. But.
So if I had a bunch of Shohei Ohtani cards, you'd be interested in those?
Yeah, but the problem is there's always people paying like 90% on those cards. It's crazy, and
right.
You know, he's like a better investment than silver, gold, and everything else going on. So crazy.
Michael Jordan about the same way.
Yeah, I was just looking at Instagram. I'm on this feed where like an Ohtani card like a few months ago was like $2,000, and now it's like $15,000 just in a few months' time.
Wow,
it's crazy. Like if a lot of people don't pull it, like say there's 20 made or 25 made, you know, it's not even near his rookie card, and like, you know, yeah, it comes out. Oh, it's cool, a quick 2,000. Well, now people realize, well, there's only a few of these ever pulled so far, and then boom, you know, it's just it's amazing. I've never seen anything like it in a player.
Yeah, that's amazing because he. I think somebody said he's like the number 3 or 2 ranked card of all time now.
Graded, I think number 2 to Jordan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't beat Jordan, but he's 2. Yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty high up there.
Yeah.
Well, he also has as Jordan does as well, but he's got international fans.
All right.
That really helps as well.
Well, that's why there's a backlog of PSA. They're like 2-3 months behind now because there's so many Jordans and Ohtani's getting sent in. It's crazy. Yeah.
2 or 3 month backlog.
I sent some in early December before Christmas, thinking like get them like end of January, early February. It's not till like late April, May now. It's just crazy. You got like $10,000 tied up in, you know, getting cards graded, and you got to wait 6 months.
How do you decide what cards to get graded versus not?
I get in moods where I want to grade stuff. I don't do it all the time. I should have a system where if you send them in like, you know, every 2 weeks or a month, at least you'll be getting some back regularly. But I wait until I have like 100 or 200 built up, and I'm like, oh, I'll get something really good, and I'm like, this is definitely worth grading. And then I'll start grading the other stuff that's been sitting around, you know. I've been sitting on Jordans forever, but I bought a big Jordan collection years ago, like 3,000 of them, and they're all mint in the sleeves and stuff. And then, you know, they were like $5 to $50 cards. It wasn't crazy, but then I'm looking at like some of these that are 9s and 10s are going for hundreds of dollars. And I paid a couple bucks a card. So I started sending them in. Yeah, we had some that are 50, 100, 200, 300. So
how much consistency is there in the grading? I mean, not just between companies. I know like Beckett and PSA, I guess, are the top two for sports cards, right?
I think Beckett's failing. There's no one's using Beckett anymore. Yeah,
but even it seems like I heard somebody talking one time like they did a little experiment. They like took a card and sent it to PSA 5 times.
Yeah.
And got 5 different grades. It was like
the problem is they're so big now. They have so many employees that certain employees will view a card differently, or it's a political thing where if Burbank Cards or David Adams sends in 1,000 cards a week, they might have the little edge on someone like me sending in 100 cards every 2 months. So.
But I mean, it does seem like that's a area that would be ripe for controversy for Blackhawk because there's so much money difference between
it's crazy.
An 8 and a 10.
Wait a minute. Let me get this straight. You're trying to say that if I had a company and I base my grading fees on what the value of the item is after graded, so therefore if I give you a 10 instead of a 9 and can charge you more, that might be some kind of
so is that how they charge?
That's strange, isn't it, Dave?
They do a percentage of the value?
Oh, yeah. If your card's like 5,000 or more, then you got to pay a percentage of what the grade is if you want it to come back in that grade.
That does seem like a complete opens up for a complete conflict of.
Yeah, but you're set up though. Like, what are you going to do?
Yeah, you're not going to complain. Like, no, I wanted an 8.0 to pay $500. You gave me a 9.0. You increased my value by 5,000, but I got to pay 500 more. Wait, what?
Yeah.
It's crazy. I'm like, what is going on? So I haven't particularly ever sent anything in to be graded. I do have one that I want to show you all. This it's not a card. It's actually a basketball. But I'm looking to get a certificate of authenticity. I don't know what you all think. I picked this up at an estate sale, and it's from the 1978-79 New Orleans Jazz.
Oh, wow.
That's cool. Pretty cool, yeah.
So, of course, they're the Utah Jazz now, but the one that I found on here, this one right here.
Yeah, Pete Maravich.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
This is Pete Maravich.
Yeah, that's really cool.
So, and it's signed by the entire team.
Yeah, I think there's an upcharge, obviously.
That's Elgin Baylor right there.
Oh, wow.
Was he a coach or something?
He was their coach, but remember, he was also an NBA player.
Yeah, he was really good. Yeah, I would be surprised if that's not authentic. That seems doesn't seem like the kind of thing somebody would think to fake a 1978-79 New Orleans Jazz New Orleans Jazz basketball.
I'm really good at doing Truck Robinson autographs, so bring me in.
Funny enough, that's on here.
There'll be 2 upcharges. There'll be 2 upcharges on that one because you got the team.
They was like, go ahead and send it to me, Wes. I'll authenticate it for you. And we're going to comp that thing up at what, $5-6 grand. I've actually seen a ball though like this, and I think it was the 1972 team, and of course this is listed $23,000.
Wow, nice.
So
definitely worth the upcharges.
So, would you all have any idea where I should try? I know there's a place in Florida.
JSA, right?
Yeah, I mean, JSA is probably, I think JSA and PSA now, either of them, but PSA is probably the number one if you got it done.
Well, JSA was bought by PSA.
Yeah. Oh, PSA bought
JSA was bought by PSA?
Yeah.
Okay. That's where I'm thinking about doing it. So.
Yep. Their certificate's the one that carries the most value. Yep.
That's PSA does?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, you might want to search on JSA, James Spence Authenticated.
What's funny,
but it's owned by PSA now.
James Spence used to work for PSA, then he broke off onto his own. Now he got bought out by PSA. He knew what he was doing.
Speaking of 70s basketball, have y'all watched that? I think it's either on Netflix or Amazon. The ABA little documentary they have.
No.
I read the book Loose Balls, and it was actually very, very funny. I don't know if this is the same thing or not. Probably based on other things.
Yeah, I don't know if it's based on that book, but it just goes through the whole history of the ABA and some of the reasons why they failed. They ultimately got their goal, which was to merge with the NBA. That's what those owners wanted, but it was only a few of the teams.
My favorite story from the book was, I don't know if you ever heard of Marvin Barnes or not.
Yeah.
where he might have been in there where they wanted him to fly from the East Coast to somewhere out West Coast or somewhere in the Central. The time was going to go back, so it was actually a short enough flight that they'd be leaving at 11 and landing at 10:50, and he's like, "I'm not going in a time machine."
Thing I want to show you. There's Pistol Pete again.
Yeah.
This is all signed in ballpoint pen too, by the way.
Yep.
Nice. Yeah.
I did meet Pistol Pete.
Oh wow.
Here, I know this is his actual autograph right here.
Cool.
Oh wow.
See it?
Yeah.
But you'll like this. This is the 1970-71 Tennessee.
Wow.
Here's Pete Maravich at LSU, and he's playing against my cousin Jimmy England, who's also he was an All-American at UT.
Wow.
That's awesome.
So I got my cousin Jimmy to sign that, and I put that on there too.
I didn't know Jimmy England was your cousin. I mean, he was a little. What years did he play? I think he was a little before I would remember.
67 to 70, I believe.
Yeah, so I was like 3 when he left. So
Well,
Yeah, we're first cousins, but he's 20 years older than me. Well, he's passed away, so he's he was 20 years older than me.
The absolute craziest thing about it is when you take a look at Pistol Pete's statistics in college. Remember, there was no 3-point shot back then. If there had been a 3-point shot, unbelievable. I think he averaged over 40 points a game.
It was like 44 points a game, 45 points a game.
Wow.
Incredible.
Without a 3-point shot. And he could shoot from outside. He wasn't, an inside player. Insane.
yeah, I think they had an ESPN 30 for 30 on him, and I think they extrapolated what he would have averaged with the 3-point shot. I don't remember what it was, but it was some ungodly number.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, absolutely.
Crazy.
But yeah, he was incredible. I got to see him at our church. He come and visited one night, and he was giving his testimony how he turned his life around. And he said, "I didn't want to be playing basketball and die of a heart attack at 40." And a couple of years later, that's exactly what happened to him.
Jeez.
Yep.
And but he got himself turned around. But what an incredible person especially to get to meet as well. But
Wait, are you talking about Pete Maravich or me?
Do what? You, David.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's make. Are you buying anything right now?
That's funny.
Or are you just?
It's like, are you breathing right now? Ask him if he's breathing. Same answer.
Well, I'm slowed down a little bit. So Saturday, I have a warehouse of a guy that I know that I'm going to be picking. He does estate sales and does clean outs and buyouts as well. And he doesn't deal in paper. And he's been hounding me for a while to go there. So I'm actually planning on going over there on Saturday. But Stewart got so angry that he just left.
He's not part of it. If I can't go with him, then forget it.
But one of the big reasons why I'm going is I do set up an Allentown paper show, and that is coming up at the end of April. And we've had some terrible, terrible weather up here. And any paper that I would want to be getting together to go to the show is actually in the garage or in the shed right now. And I said, if I could go to this guy's warehouse, pick stuff that I can put on my table over at Allentown, that takes a lot of pressure off of me for having to get out there because, I can't get out there today with the rain. Can't get out there. Who knows? It could be snowing next week for all we know. And Allentown's coming up in about 4 weeks. So I've said, I got to really get some stuff together for that show. So I'm going to be picking his warehouse. Obviously, things change based on what's in there, but I'm going to be picking it with an eye toward, I can just take this, put this on my table at Allentown, take this, put it on the table at Allentown, and take a lot of stress and pressure off myself.
Gotcha.
That's cool. Hey, quick question. So have either one of y'all done anything with soda bottles before?
I've drank out of them.
I mean, have you ever sold them?
Oh,
not too much. I mean, the RC cans were cool in the 70s, with the players on them, stuff like that.
So, well, the reason I asked, because I had a question. So I was fortunate enough today to basically acquire a collection of soda bottles, mostly all the way from the 30s through the 60s, mostly. And they're all, every one of them still has the cap.
Oh, wow.
They're all still, full. I mean,
some level.
Right? But my question, and I've done some Googling to see, to collect, if I have it like this, I know there's rules about shipping liquid. So, and I've gotten different answers. Some say, no, collectors just want the bottle and the cap. They don't really care if anything's in it, so you should pour it out. Then others have said, no, sell it like you got it, then if somebody buys it, give them the option of shipping it with or without the liquid.
Right.
But a lot of them are like local, like South Carolina, North Carolina bottles. And I thought it was interesting, this ginger ale bottle in the back, it gives like the breakdown of everything that's in it, like how much ammonia's in it.
That's pretty cool.
How much chlorine. It's got 15 parts per million of chlorine.
Not much strychnine.
30 parts per million of ammonia. But yeah, there's remember the old Orange Crush bottles.
Oh, that's really cool.
Oh, you can ship them, but you have to use. You can't use post office, correct?
No, you can. So I was reading. So if you want to ship anything with liquid, even if it's not hazardous, you have to make sure that put tape or something over this. The problem, the fact that these are empty probably means the seal's not good, so it's gonna leak.
Yeah.
And then you have to put it inside like a Ziploc bag, and then put paper towels around it or some other absorbent material, and then put it in a box. I mean, I think what I've decided, I'm going to
basically you're shipping one of those in a 20 by 20 by 20 box with all of
them. So
just put it in a poly mailer and let it fly.
There you go. Poly mailer. I think what I'm leaning towards, I've got enough of them to try some different outlets. I think I'm going to put some in my booth and see how they do there. And I was looking some of these bottles up, I think I found this particular one without a cap empty for $20. So I don't know how much of a premium the cap and having stuff in it adds, if anything.
Yeah.
But these are the only 6 I've looked at. All the rest are wrapped up. And this guy, he got my name from somebody at the antique mall, and he called me and said, "Hey, somebody told me you might be interested in these soda bottles." And so I went to his house today. He lives in this log cabin. You feel like you're in the mountains. But it's right in the middle of Knoxville. And he basically just gave them to me and said, I want you just to get them to people who enjoy them. He goes, I know you're going to sell them. And I said, well, do you want to do consignment? I said, it sounds like you have no expectations. And I like doing consignment for people like that, because it doesn't matter how long they take or how much I get. He said, I'll tell you what, just if you want to and you make a little extra money, he said, give whatever you were going to give to me to, just a good cause of your choosing. So,
wow.
So I'll probably, sell them, see what I do, how well I do, and then, donate some money.
Completely unrelated. We do accept super chats on our live show, and we feel that we are a
$1 million peddlers. It's like the human fund on Seinfeld.
That is true.
We're soon to start accepting those as well, Dave.
I think our last one was February 29th, 3 years ago.
What do you consider a bad estate sale when you go to these?
When you can't spend $500.
Well, I've gotten my way of going to estate sales. I go to 3 types of estate sales. 4 types. Number one, if it's up the street, I'm going to go to it. Period. End story. Just because it's literally, there was one that was the next street over. I went to it because it's literally the next street over. Number 2, so those I don't even bother looking at because I know I'm going to it because it's the next street over. Number 2, say that Mrs. Papergoy and I need to go to the mall. I will look and be like, hey, there's an estate sale 3 blocks away from the mall. I don't care what's there. I'm going, but I go in with no expectations because I'm going to the mall anyway. I can take some mileage. Who knows? You might find something good. It's worth the try. The third one is there is 1 or 2 estate sale dealers up here who I absolutely go to every sale they have because they do not take junk. They get very good estates, and they also don't value paper at all. So they won't even be picturing it there. So I go to those. So I guess the answer would be the ones that are unsuccessful estate sales are the ones that the pictures look pretty good. So I actually make a point to go to them. And then you go to it and you're not able to buy anything not because all the good stuff's gone, because I pick enough things and I know enough things I can always find stuff. But when you get there, I've gone to sales where books are $5 and coffee table books are $10. And you're going, wait, what?
Right.
What? it doesn't leave you a lot of room at all. Leave alone the fact that books now, the scanners have scanned everything anyway all the time. So I think if it's a sale that I go out of my way to go to because it looks good and you get there and you can't buy anything because they're so overpriced or they just don't. Well, overpriced is really, I think, what it comes down to.
Is that what kind of gives you pause though, when you're looking at estate sales online and you see what they have pictured? Do you kind of stay away from wanting to go to certain ones? You're like, well, there's no way I'll be able to get there to get that.
Oh, no, because I tend to look, the way that I tend to look at it is if they've got that, they've probably got other things along that way. I'll give you a perfect example. I do nothing at all with toys or things like that. I just don't. And I don't want to be sexist here. I know that we're in a different world now, but I still come at it from the sexist standpoint that if I'm looking at a 1970s estate that has Big Jim and has Hot Wheels, it's probably, in a football and whatever, it's probably a boy from 1970s. That's exactly the area that I know the paper stuff from. They probably have some comic books. They just didn't picture them. They probably got. And so I would go to a sale like that, even though it doesn't show anything that I want, because what are the odds that somebody just had toys and didn't have any of the books or any of that stuff from that same era?
But if you're looking at like the bundle of comic books that they have it pictured nice and all that, are you going to even try to get to that one?
I would go to it, but I wouldn't go first thing in the morning. I would go a little later. Part of it would depend upon who is having the sale as well. There are certain people that will deal on the first day, believe it or not. And if it's one of those that I know will deal on the first day, I don't mind going 2 hours into the sale because they might be at that point willing to move everything to me. The other thing that matters, I actually did go to a sale that did have a lot of really nice comic books pictured. I walked away with a fair number of good comics, but that's because it was an hour and a half drive out in the middle of the country. Yeah. The funny thing about it is all the other people from Rochester went down there too, just not all the comic guys. But I went there and I'm like, everybody here is from Rochester. Why are we all an hour and a half away? Nobody down here goes to estate sales?
You know the estate sale companies well enough that you kind of know before you go. I mean, that which ones are going to be overpriced and which ones are going to have, certain things overpriced, but other things priced okay. I know you probably, I don't know, we probably have, say, 10 to 12 estate co companies that are running estate sales all the time. Then we have other ones that pop up occasionally. But, yeah, I mean, I've pretty much learned. Now, the good thing, and maybe you see this too, I've found as many books as I buy, I can go be the first one there. I can go into the first day. I can go second day. And I always load my bag with books. I mean, there's just not that many other people I've found looking for books. And I've also found for the most part, estate sale companies, even if they're overpriced on everything they have, books are usually $2 to $3. Now, there are exceptions, like you mentioned, where you'll have the ones who individually price all 752 books they've got in the estate sale. And I'm thinking you'd probably make more money if you just price them all at $3 and, just get them out of there versus, people cherry picking to buy the certain ones. But yeah, for the most part, I find books are almost always priced reasonably at estate sales.
Now, do you have the scanners down there?
I mean, I don't have a scanner, but
do your sales up here? There's 4 to 5 people that go to every sale and they're scanning.
Not at estate sales. I really don't see people scanning at estate sales. I do at thrift shops a lot around here. But, I'm usually, you're usually, so when you scan books, can you do it based on just a picture of the book or a barcode?
Yep, okay. They're starting to be able to do it just with the picture of the book, and I've seen people just doing it on the picture as well. Yep. But I'm going to tell you a story. I was talking with the gentleman up here, and unfortunately, he's been a long-time dealer. He started in the 80s, and unfortunately, he is passing away due to cancer, but he's selling a lot of his stuff off to me. And I did ask him because I wanted to know. I said, what is the best find you ever had? And he kind of laughed, and he said it was over in Brockport 20 years ago, something or other like that, which is a town half an hour from here. Big library, a house, but lots of books in a house, and tons of dealers there. And he looked down on the bottom, and he got there a couple hours after it opened. And he looked down on the bottom, and he pulled a book out, and it was missing the title page and the first 30 pages. But he said, I think I know what this is. He bought it. It was the first edition Mormon Bible, and he got $30,000 out of it.
Oh, wow.
And this was 20 to 30 years ago.
Wow.
The best thing he ever had.
Wow.
And he goes, all the other dealers just walked by. They would have picked it up, looked at it, the book's not even complete, and put it back. But he knew enough about what it was that he scored that out of a house. Now, we're lucky up here. Joseph Smith is from Palmyra. He's the founder of Mormonism from Palmyra, which is 35, 40 minutes away from here. So you do find some early Mormon stuff up around here from time to time.
Well, I find there's so many people who won't deal with Bibles for whatever reason. And so, I mean, I almost always find Bibles at estate sales and, do pretty well with them. So.
Well, and I did very well with the Bible recently. I mean, very well. I paid $5 and I got 77 and whatnot for it, but it was falling apart. But I bought it because it was the family Bible with all the papers stuck in the front all the way through. And I ended up selling the paper stuff out of it for a lot more than I paid for the Bible. And then to get $77 out of the Bible, I'm like, can't argue with that. That was a win all along.
And Mr. Magazine, I'd ask David at the start, right before you come in here, if he was a hoarder. Are you a hoarder?
I collect Batman, Spider-Man, Star Wars. So I hoard anything of that nature that comes in, pretty much, especially older vintage stuff. But other than that, I'm into graded comics now. Stuff. I'm kind of the older I get, I'm scaling down and selling like newer toys from my collection off that just I have no interest in. But the vintage stuff, I'm definitely. But as far as hoarding, I do hoard my inventory because I have so much of it. I can't control it, but it just keeps growing no matter how much I sell. I keep buying more and more. So I'm like him on a different level, but yeah.
So of the
mature of things.
Yeah, I mean, my warehouse is 20,000 square feet. That's jam-packed full. I got 2 sea containers, those big 40-foot containers. Those are full. 3 pods are full. My shop is full from the attic down to the apartment down to the basement. So I'm really running out of room at this point. So I got to either throw stuff out or sell it faster. Stop buying, which is never going to happen.
So the stuff you mentioned that you do hoard, the Spider-Man, Batman, what was the other?
Star Wars,
Star Wars. So what's the most valuable item you have in your collection?
I do have Amazing Fantasy 15, Spider-Man Origin graded 5.
First appearance.
So what is that?
Like 50 to 60,000.
Oh, wow.
If you sold that off, you could go and get a lot more stuff.
I've wanted that my whole life, so I got lucky and got I picked up a nice one, got it graded. So, but I do have the first 200 issues all graded of Spider-Man. So that was my goal to complete Spider-Man and start getting high grade, get the higher grades on it and so forth.
Do you ever see yourself selling that stuff off at some point, 10, 15 years down the road?
Yeah, I think so. I just want to be forced to sell it off, so, I have some debt that I'm trying to, knock down without selling my collection that's, dear to my heart. So, but, the older I get, I think I lose more and more interest. I like sports cars. So, if I sell it and buy a fancy sports car, hopefully the sports car is just a good investment, not a bad one. So I got to get a rare sports car that holds its value, I think.
Right.
So do you collect anything particular, David?
Yeah, I collect. Well,
you got 5 or 6 hours.
I collect sports cards, non-sports cards, comic books. One thing that I especially like are the Platinum Age comic books, like the old Mutt and Jeff and things like that. I do like those. That's pretty much what I collect. Those, and then I keep other things that I find cool along the way. And actually,
is that the division line, David? What you find is cool, you keep. Is that your division line?
That is my division line. Yeah. Actually, at some point, I've been thinking about some point down the line. I do want to do another YouTube channel. This is first Mr. Magazine's hearing about this either. I've got a collectibles room up there. Mr. Magazine has seen the collectibles room, and it is packed full of stuff, cool stuff and all that. But I don't even know what is up there. So at some point, I think I'd like to do another YouTube channel at some point, starting to get into that because it is collectible stuff, but it isn't reselling stuff. So I would want it on a separate channel there. And see what I find when I go through the room, because I don't even know what I have in there. I mean, I do generally know, but
the good news is, if someone broke in and went into that room, they would turn away from it, like, what is this crap?
True. But I know, like I'll give a perfect example. A number of years ago, I was at an auction, and they had back when we used to have auctions up this way, and they had a flat with jazz stuff in it, jazz magazines and all that kind of stuff. So I paid, I don't know, $100 for the flat, something other like that. I knew I'd make money on it. Start going through it, and there's a Louis Armstrong program, and it's signed. I said, that's too cool to sell. I'm going to keep that. Mm-hmm. So I kept that, and I did find a Sir Alec Guinness, well, it was just Alec Guinness at the time, a program signed by him, and I kept that. And James Garner, I kept that. So things like that I end up keeping because I'm like, yeah, I could sell the James Garner. What am I going to get, 50, 75, $100 out of it? Or I could just keep it. I always liked Rockford Files growing up. I try to do that card trick where you go forward and suddenly you're going backwards. It doesn't work for me very well. But, so I'm going to keep things like that.
Well, be like, you could almost take that channel and do like a history of things and basically log what you have by video. And then at some point, 5-10 years down the road, it might make it easier for you to sell it off, and you can go back and look at your videos and go, oh yeah, I remember having that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's a good point. Oh.
I got a bunch of shelving units. When you put them in there, then you can organize each shelf.
I could do that too. Yeah. All right, I'm still working on the channel.
Oh, all right. Trying to help.
He's trying to come up with a name.
He's got some early Batman comics. I sold them years ago that I want to buy back. They're worth like 20 times the price I sold them for now. So, if I work really hard, I'll just earn them.
Won't you go help him, and then exactly. Maybe he'll gift them back to you or something.
Yeah. I'll get him drunk with all his liquor in the other room.
We were just talking a little earlier about estate sales. Not to tell you guys how to run your channel by any means whatsoever, but an idea would be, and we've had 2 different estate sale company people that run estate sales on, and they've been some of our best shows. So I don't know if you're friendly with the estate sale people or not, but I definitely do think it's good to have somebody like that on. They've always got good stories, and it's always good to see from their side of things, because at least the people we had on gave their tips on how they were pricing and how they looked things up and how they did this and how they did that. And if you could pay attention and read between the lines as to what they were saying, you could hear what they weren't saying, and that's how you kind of find, hey, if I look for this kind of thing, they're not putting value on this, I can buy this. So it kind of gives you a little bit of an inside tip, because you're sitting there talking to them and finding out from them, all that. And the other good thing is when the camera's off, you get the good scuttlebutt on everybody.
It's funny you mentioned that, Dave, because I do have one estate sale company that is local. Stewart doesn't even know this. I've been talking to, and I'm close to bringing them on our show one day. So
well, I was getting ready to say it's funny you said that too, because I have been thinking about asking the guy at 7 Cs if he'd like to come on the show. So, but we'll let you go with yours first, Wes.
Yeah, but David, do you have any thing like they kind of advertise your channel for you at these estate sales? Have you ever talked to them about that kind of stuff? Or
I haven't talked to them about that. No, I probably should. I have not done so. Yep, I probably should. Now, a lot of the people, people will come up to the sale and say, hey, I saw you on here, at that person's sale and all that kind of stuff. Right. And I've not asked them to advertise it.
Because that's one thing I was thinking along those lines as well. Saying we can advertise you here if you'll just advertise us there. That's interesting you said that, because it's like you jumped in my brain there for a minute.
And anybody out
I know how that feels. It's not good.
So when y'all had the estate sale companies on, did y'all ask them, because this is the one thing I've always been curious about, and I know probably different estate sale companies do it different ways, but what do they do with all the stuff that's left over? I mean, what's the split on how many? I know some have cleanup people who come in and they sell it all to one person who comes in and cleans. I wonder, does some of them actually, purchase the rest themselves and then sell it through other outlets? Or
well, there's 4 different ways. There is the one person that they don't do it any longer because they don't have their store any longer, but they were purchasing outright at the end and then selling it through their own store. There is 2 or 3 of them that I can think of that have the people that come in and buy in bulk at the end. There are the ones that will just clean it all out and throw it away. There's one person that does that. And then there's the one that it goes back to the owners. That's just in their contract. It goes back to the owners. everyone up here will deal with you except one. There was one place that will. I mean, you could be 15 minutes before the end of the second day, and they got magazines at 75 cents a piece. And you go, what if I want to buy all of them?
Let me count them.
70, yeah, exactly. Let me count them at 70 cents a piece. 15 minutes. Nobody is going to come in and buy all these at 75 cents each.
Right.
Well, yeah, I had that exact. There was like this whole box of buttons sitting in a state, like pinback buttons sitting in a state. I went to, and there were probably, 100 of them in there, and they had them priced at like $2 each. And I'm like, how much for the whole thing? Well, $2 each. I'm like, you're probably not going to sell all these. But they would not come off to. They go, well, tomorrow they'll be $1 each. But
jeez. Yeah, if anybody out there watching this is interested, when they do check out our channel, $1 Million Peddlers, do a search on Elite Estates and Flower City. Those are the two estate sale companies that we've had on.
Okay.
Well, Dave, Mr. Magazine, I'm going to give you the chance to basically jump back into your show right now. I want each of you to give me your glitch of the week and item of the week.
Oh, glitch of the week is easy. Glitch of the week is easy. So over on our channel, we also have a membership side of things. And we give videos that are only available to members. And one thing that I do every single week.
Kind of like OnlyFans, Dave?
Yeah, well, you got to join and find out, Stewart. I'm going to give you a free show.
My wife's watching. What is that?
Here, hold on. I'll give you a little bit of a free show here. Oh, okay. So what I do is I go and I take a look at Mr. Magazine sales. We have our Bolo video on our regular channel. Well, I go back and I do a deep dive into Mr. Magazine sales. And had a situation where one of his things that he sold didn't have a picture on it. So eBay lost the picture. And I said, whoa, okay. I know how long has that been like that? So I start going through more of his sales. He had a second item. eBay lost the picture. So I bring him up on the screen to talk about him. Picture showed up on the second one just before I brought it up on screen. So eBay today is having some kind of a glitching problem where pictures aren't loading properly or aren't showing up. So there's our glitch of the week right there. You've heard it before. We talked about it on our show.
And item of the week?
Ooh, as far as sold or unsold, I just picked up a Josh Allen helmet, which I thought was cool because it's like the most sought after signed item.
Oh, a Josh Allen helmet.
Yeah.
Some guy he's gonna hate that he missed here and there.
Yeah, and, I've had a bunch of jerseys, but the helmet's pretty cool, and it's the real, authentic one. So that's like.
So how did you procure that?
So a customer came in and knew me from the past, and he bought a dog, and the dog needs a lot of vet work, I guess. So he had to sell it, and so we were pretty close on the price, and then I felt bad for the guy, and then he goes like, "Well, I've had this so long, I think it's a jinx. They haven't won the Super Bowl, so if I sell and get rid of it, I think they're going to win this year."
Didn't you?
I'm not a Bills fan, so I didn't want to say anything, make him feel bad.
Didn't you get Thurman Thomas's helmet right before the Super Bowl that one year?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
I don't know if you remember or not. He couldn't make it into the game at the first because he'd misplaced his helmet.
Couldn't find his helmet. I remember that. Yeah.
Crazy.
So my item of the week, and this is going to tie, not to run your show, but I do tend to take things over. This is going to lead into a question that I have for you guys.
Okay.
So this I bought at Ephemera Fair, and it is the New Orleans Waltz. And this is some early sheet music. That is early sheet music. You can just tell by the way it is. The lady had a bag of sheet music, $79, 19 pieces, a lot of Civil War stuff. So I said, this is really cool. This was in there. So right before Mr. Magazine came over, I did a little bit of use the AI on it. And it said this is 1820s to 1830s. So this could actually be a very good piece of sheet music because it's very, very early. So that's my item here I wanted to show you. I thought it was very cool. New Orleans. I think it's going to be very, very collectible on that. But how are you guys using, or are you guys using AI at this point, and how are you finding it?
I absolutely am using AI to do a lot of my listing work. I mean, I'm using ChatGPT, and I do have the paid version, and I've trained it pretty well to, I guess, sound like me as far as how it returns listings for me. So I just upload the pictures, click a button, and it pretty much brings back, it brings back the title, the description, the keywords. It does some comps for me, which I do take those with a grain of salt, but it at least gives me, kind of a starting point for certain things. it'll do a condition section, and then it also will just give me general information that I may use in the listing. And I mean, it's gotten so good that I used to have to do a lot of tweaking, but now I can just almost always copy and paste, and it sounds like it doesn't do, like when I first started, AI would do all kind of flowery language and put too many superlatives in there, and just slapping its hand enough times, it's gotten pretty good.
I knew it wasn't Stewart talking.
You do one-offs with the AI, or you do bulk, like 100 at a time or anything like that?
Usually I'm just doing one-offs. I mean, it's gotten so, and that's the other thing. I used to not do everything because ChatGPT was slow. Now it's gotten like I upload the pictures and boom, it comes back. I mean, it can do it faster than me, thinking about it. Of course, I can read and comprehend real fast. So, I read the description, and if I need to tweak anything, I do. But, it's not like we're doing creative writing here. It's just, it's facts, and it's, what. So, it's kind of a long way from when I first started playing around with it a year and a half or so ago, where I was using it to help me, but now it's almost doing the listing stuff for me.
Nice.
So
the thing is, David, do you feel like it is absolutely necessary now to use it?
I've got a saying that I've started to use, but I forgot what my saying is, but I know it's really good.
That's shocking.
It's that good, huh? Okay.
It's that good that I forgot what it was.
And he tells me I have dementia.
You've got to use it. You've got to use it as a tool, not as a crutch, is really what it comes down to. And in order for it to work right, I find that you have to have some level of knowledge.
Yeah.
Now, I'll take an example, that piece of sheet music right over there. I'm going to believe that it is from the 1820s, the 1830s, from what it said. I've had enough sheet music. I know enough about printing and all that. I would have guessed 1840s. It came back and said it was 1820s, 30s, based on the publisher because of blah, blah. Okay, that all makes sense. But you got to be careful that it doesn't tell you something and you just blindly run with it, because it could just as well tell me, oh, that's a 1978 reprint from. I'm like, no, this is 78.
Well, and I have learned it. I mean, it's just like if you had an assistant helping you do something. I mean, as I mentioned, I read every description. I don't just blindly copy and paste. And I mean, there are times I have to push back, hey, are you sure this is this? Or, I looked at something and this is something slightly different. Of course, the only bad thing with AI, it's always very agreeable. Oh, you're right. And,
well, I'm going to show you another thing over here. We're talking about AI. So I don't know if you're familiar with these or not. That's Japanese. And I didn't know the first thing about it. So I went and I used AI, and it was able to identify the year. It's about 1900 to 1910, that it's actually a wood block because of the bleed through on the back, the kind of paper that is being used on it. It was able to identify the scene. It was able to tell me the artist, and it all tied in with it being 1910 because of the collection that I got it from. I don't know the first thing about Japanese. Oh, and it also was able to read the script over here and tell me what the script over here was, which obviously I can't read Japanese. But at first it was trying to tell me, this is probably a modern reprint, because I said, no, it's not. I know that it's not. So I had to lead it down to, it is real. Here's the size of it. Here's this. Oh, here's what it is. And now that makes sense to me. So you've got to kind of walk it through, and you have to know enough. You have to know enough when it's just blowing smoke.
Mm-hmm. I will tell you the other thing that I use AI for a lot is if I get lots of letters from the 1800s.
Oh yeah, I can read
those in, and it'll because you know how hard. I mean, you know how taxing it is to try to read that script, and it does a really good job transcribing like old letters like that.
So I'm going to tell you a quick story. Somebody that I know, their family had a letter like that it was from the old country. It was written part English, part German, I think. So it's got between the two languages with the script, but it wasn't even educated English or educated German. So it was kind of, peasant talk. I don't mean that as a negative, but it was. And this guy had taken it to some professors back in the past, and, I can't really make it out. I can't really tell you what it's about. He did it on ChatGPT. It was able to tell him what it said. Turns out that It was a letter from his wife in the old country that they never even knew existed. Apparently, he moved here and started a whole new family over here, but was still sending money back over there, but was never going to go back. And it was like a heartbreaking letter. Like, I understand now that you're never going to come back, blah, blah, blah. And they had no idea at all that this person even existed in the old country. So it's kind of amazing what ChatGPT can do, or any of the AIs.
So that
Easy.
So do you ever have sales that, I mean, just where they go is really cool? I had speaking of letters, it wasn't a letter, but it was a school paper from like 18 something. And it was from Ohio, and it was written about life of the Amish. I think it was Amish. It was Amish or Quakers. Or Mennonites. It may have been, it's either Quakers or Mennonites. But anyway, one of those religious groups. And I mean, it was a whole like life in an Amish town. And it ended up selling. I mean, I sold it for close to $100. It was like 10 pages and like really descriptive and really cool language, and painted some really good pictures. But it went to the research library to college in that same town. You know, and I always think it's really cool when you sell stuff. I just recently sold a rhythm and blues magazine from the 50s that went to like the Center for African American Studies at the University of, I think it was the university in Atlanta, maybe, but I don't know. It's just kind of cool that something you sell is going to then go be used for, something else, or preserved, or.
Well, the other one that I enjoy, so I've sold a few times, are which you can do from time to time. Old art catalogs actually get bought by the Christies and the Sotheby's.
Oh, wow!
Because they like to have those in their files, because then if somebody comes in with the painting, hey, yeah, this was shown at such and such a place. So they must have an extensive library and all the various artists and all that. So when they buy things like that from you, it's pretty cool. And the other one that I had, I guess they redid the Wonder Years a few years ago, and they were buying stuff from me, and they literally were like, "We need this overnighted." I'm like, they go, "No, we'll send you the UPS label. You pack it. You email us when it's there. You literally just leave it on your porch and we'll get it down here." I'm like, okay. So I packed the thing up, put it on my front porch, emailed it's out there. They said, okay. And it was gone the next time I looked out there. And I'm like, okay, what's that?
Did you see it on the show? Did you see whatever?
I didn't watch the show to see if it was there or not, but I probably should. But they bought a couple of things from me. Somehow or other, I ended up on their preferred vendor lists, which was cool.
Yeah, I've sold a few things to like pilots for TV shows. Like none of them ever made the air, but they went to like a studio. And I sold an old telephone one time that went to some studio. And my brother actually sold. He had a bunch of vintage socks he was selling for a while. That were the old Orline, like the ones with the stripes and stuff. Oh, yeah. And he sold a bunch of those to the Tonight Show. And he watched it. He watched for him to use it in a skit, and he never saw it, so he doesn't know what happened to him. But they did go to the.
It was just cold in the studio.
I guess
Johnny needed some socks. Fellas, I have one last thing for you before we get off here. The post office price is going up again. Is that going to have any effects? And if it is, what effects is it going to have?
I was thinking about, are you talking about the 8% surcharge on packages that they just announced today that Mr. Magazine doesn't even know about yet?
Oh, great. Are we paying Mr. Magazine? Yeah.
It's a fuel surcharge, I think. So
I don't even care about that. I care about Amazon holding my money hostage for 2 weeks. That's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking today that there has to be an upper limit. There just has to be. If you're spending 10, 12, 15 bucks to get a magazine sent to you, at some point, who's going to be able to afford to do that?
Yeah.
Now obviously if you've got the highly collectible things, you've got the first Playboy, or you've got a really expensive early Marilyn Monroe magazine, it's $4,000 magazine.
Yeah.
What's 10, 15 bucks? It's a rounding error on it. But you've got some, $10 magazine, and you're trying to charge $15 for shipping, and you're not making anything on it because it's going to Hawaii.
How much is the surcharge?
It's an 8% for packages.
8% of what the normal cost is. So if
I haven't seen
flat rate. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know that they've released all the details. If it's going to be across every class of mail, if it's going to
it's across everything that is competitive. So in other words, it's not on first class letters. and it's not on media mail.
Right.
Everything else is
Everything else.
Yep.
So how often? I mean, I've found, of course, I agree. I don't know what I don't know what
he's making.
Well, no, I'm laughing.
Like I'm never going on their phone again. We just
the more I think, I don't like the post office because my branch has no respect for my business. So, like, we're the number one, what would you call it, customer in their area. So we have 200-300 packages a day, and they don't want to scan our packages because it takes them too long. But if they've had packages, 12 of them or 20 of them, we got no problem because, so Dave's spending $50,000 a year with the post office. They'll scan all his packages, but I'm spending $500,000, and they keep complaining like I'm bad for their company. So what I've been doing over the last couple of years, besides fighting with them, is using UPS. And I love that UPS, you can use it on eBay and Amazon now, especially on Amazon. It'll show you your top 4, the cheapest 4 options. And a lot of times we will go with UPS then because they don't have the 21-inch surcharge or whatever that is. So now I'll just go with them more because if it's 8% and it's higher than UPS, now I'll be spending $250,000 with post office, $250,000 with UPS. And it's like I laugh in their face because they act like they don't care. But then I'll get calls from like supervisor and stuff and saying like, okay, we'll start scanning your stuff. And it only lasts so long, and then they go back to not scanning half of it, So
that was I was actually getting ready to ask, like, how often are you using alternatives to the postal service? Because I have found more and more now. I used to just absorb the cost of using the post office on my free shipping stuff, but I've really started using UPS and FedEx more, and just gone to, whatever's the cheapest because they don't complain about scanning, and and they actually have self-service scan stations that count. Like the post office self-service scanning don't count. I mean, it doesn't prove you dropped it off. So
I'm really going to diversify a whole lot now.
But I feel like with the 8%, it might push UPS over the edge where half of the items will be cheaper with UPS at this point instead of like 10 or 20% of the items. Yeah.
And I will say I've found that UPS gets a better discount sometime on pirate ship than on eBay. Like postal service is pretty much the same discount. It's the same commercial rate on pirate ship at eBay, especially since eBay does the cubic pricing now. It used to not. So if you had something small and heavy, it'd be cheaper on pirate ship, but now it's the same. But UPS definitely has some better rates sometime over on pirate ship. So,
Well, gentlemen, we appreciate you coming in on episode 106. It has been a while. Let's see, Stewart, you said it was episode 79?
27 episodes ago, yep. So just about half a year ago, yep.
So we need to get you back on more than that.
We need to get everybody in the room at the same time.
Yeah. That's the goal, is to get everybody together. I'm not sure that we can pull it
of course, we would love to have you guys on again as well. We're getting into a little bit of a busy time, but I'm sure we'll have you. We'll reach out again. As long as Stewart doesn't block my emails, we'll be in touch. I keep changing email addresses, so I stay one step ahead of them.
I know I get one going to the spam folder, and then this new one pops into the inbox.
Yeah. It's like, I'm not talking to Stewart anymore. Leave me alone. Mr. Magazine, I'm sorry I didn't mean to run your night here with the...
Oh, that's not at all. I got to get it. It's room when I go home. My wife's there.
Oh,
I'm just kidding. She's sleeping.
Take my wife, please. Like the old Henny Youngman joke. We'll end with a joke if you don't mind.
There you go. That's the last thing I was going to ask you to do. Give me a joke, because you always do it on your show. Go ahead.
And this is Henny Youngman. So my wife, I got to tell you, my wife, she said, I need a new stove. So I go and get her an electric stove. She says, oh, I need a dishwasher. I get her an electric dishwasher. She says, I need a chair.
You get it, Wes?
No, I didn't.
He gets her an electric chair.
Yeah, I know. It's all electric. You're going to fry her. Yes, sir. I got it, my friend.
You got to thank Henny Youngman for that. And then
gonna get Homer and Jeff.
All right, I got one last thing for you.
We'll get another one. Go ahead.
Well, I get a joke. This is a true story.
Okay.
I read this over. It's got to be true. It's on the internet. It was on Henny Youngman's Wikipedia. So he used to, he would be going to various towns and all that kind of stuff, of course, on his tours. And so he would be in the hotel, And when he went into the hotel, he would read, you know how when you go into hotels, it'll say like conference room A is this, conference room B is this. He would look and he'd say, conference room B, oh, the McBride wedding. Okay. So then he would go there and he would say, hey, who's in charge of the wedding? And oh, so-and-so, come here. So he would talk to the, like the father of the bride or whatever. And he'd say, I'm Henny Young. Oh yeah, we know who you are. Tell you what, you let me eat and you give me $100. I'll do 15-minute show for you. And they're like, oh, that's great. That's great. So he would do a 15-minute show in the lobby, in the conference room, put $100 in his pocket, get a free meal out of it.
Wow.
Nice.
That is hustling. That is a side hustle right there.
That is a major side hustle. Wow.
Nice.
Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And if you guys don't blow up because of these Henny Youngman references, I don't know what to tell you.
Exactly.
You did all you could, Dave.
I'm trying.
We're really popular with the older crowd.
Yeah.
Wait till next appearance. I'll get some Fatty Arbuckle material for you.
Love it. Have yourself a great week of reselling, and we hopefully will get to talk to you soon.
Of course.
Yeah,
Very good. Thanks for having us.
All right.
Yep. See you later.
Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.